In a far-off place, long ago, before Earth was created, God had a plan for planet Earth. And he would hide his plan in 2 units of time, the week and the year. 7 spins of Earth on its axis would designate a week, while 1 orbit of Earth around the Sun would be a year. In both these units of time, God concealed his master plan for planet Earth.
It's absolutely astounding what God has done. When I say he hid his entire plan for Earth in the week and in the year, what I mean is in each of those, he foretold the fall of mankind, the Messiah's first and second comings, and the end. He foretold the time of these things, the seasons. So every week that goes by and every year that passes, God's plan plays out.
It was a common teaching among the early church that God's 7-day creation week foretold of a 7,000-year plan. Many of the early church fathers' writings about this still exist today. For example, in the 4th century AD, Lactantius wrote,
"Therefore, since all the works of God were completed in 6 days, the world must continue in its present state through 6 ages, that is, 6,000 years. And as God labored during those 6 days in creating such great works, so his religion and truth must labor during these 6,000 years, while wickedness prevails and bears rule. And again, since God, having finished his works, rested the 7th day, and blessed it, at the end of the 6,000th year, all wickedness must be abolished from the earth, and righteousness reigned for 1,000 years. And there must be tranquility and rest, from the labors which the world now has long endured."
So the early church believed God's 6 creation days foretold of a 6,000-year plan from creation to Christ's second coming. And after this, they believed Christ's 1,000-year millennial earthly kingdom would play out in fulfillment of the 7th-day Sabbath in the creation story. And they were correct about all this. But what they didn't know was God had concealed the time of Christ's first coming in the creation week as well. He did this by creating life only on days 5 and 6, those creatures with the breath of life in them. Birds and fish, day 5, animals and mankind, day 6. No life existed days 1 through 4 in the creation week. This foretold in God's plan for Earth, mankind would be dead in their sins for 4 days, meaning 4,000 years, until Messiah would die for us, giving us life again. Remember Jesus saying, "I have come that you might have life." He was talking about his death. It's through Christ's death on the cross that we have hope of eternal life. So that's why God created life day 5 and 6 in the creation story. Because those 2 days, or 2,000 years 4,000 to 6,000 in his master plan, mankind would live in the finished work of Messiah.
There it is, the complete plan of God, in the week. Mankind's fall would happen, the very first year. They would then remain, dead in their sins, for 4 days, until Messiah's death would give them life again, year 4,000. 2 days later, Messiah will return, year 6,000. And the final judgment will occur after Christ's millennial kingdom, year 7,000. Thus, every week that passes, God's plan plays out.
So how about the year? How does God's plan play out every single year? We know in the week, he hid his plans in the creation narrative. But what about the year? It's in the seasons: fall, winter, spring, summer. So the only thing we need to know is when a year begins in God's eyes. It's the Jewish year, the Hebrew calendar. It's believed day one of creation happened on Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, at the fall equinox. And what season begins at the fall equinox? September 21st? Fall. So the first season of the year is fall. Then winter, spring, summer. And then it repeats. So in God's eyes, from the creation of the world, the seasons of a year are fall, winter, spring, summer. Fall, winter, spring, summer. From one Jewish New Year to the next. Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. So if we graph a year out over God's 7,000-year plan, you'll notice each of the 4 seasons spans 1,750 years. And the first season is fall. Come on. Do you see it? Mankind's fall. The season of fall foretold the fall of mankind. Remember, the fall of mankind happened the very first year. In fact, the Jews believe the fall happened day 10, just 4 days after Adam and Eve were created on day 6. So think about this. The first season Adam and Eve were experiencing, after being kicked out of the Garden of Eden, was fall. Can you imagine? The leaves begin to dry up and then fall off the trees. Daylight gets less and less with each passing day, while the darkness gets longer and longer. It's getting colder and colder. Soon the trees look like dead sticks. They've never seen this before. It makes me wonder if Eve turned to Adam and said, "Adam, what's happening? Everything's dying. God said if we eat of the forbidden tree, we shall surely die. But Adam, have we killed the whole world? Are we headed towards complete darkness? Is it all over?" Can you imagine the fear? Truly, I tell you, every year, the season of fall represents the fall of mankind. Then winter sets in. It's cold, dark. Things look bleak. And another 1,750 years in God's plan goes by, while mankind remains dead in their sins, hopeless. But then spring arrives. Trees begin to bud, flowers bloom, birds chirp. Suddenly life is everywhere, beauty, warmth. And what was it all foretelling? That this was the season Messiah would come to earth and die for us, giving us life again. In the spring. It had to happen sometime between years 3,500 and 5,250. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Christ died for us year 4,000. Perfectly in the spring. And then begins the final season of the year, summer. And what's this about? Harvest. Harvesting crops. Jesus likened his second coming to a harvest.
The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin, and all who do evil. They will throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun, in the kingdom of their Father. Whoever has ears, let them hear.
So Christ returns, year 6000, in the season of summer, to harvest souls. This is called the first resurrection. But just as most crops have two harvests, so too in God's plan for earth, there are two harvests. The final harvest will occur year 7000, at the end of Christ's 1,000-year Sabbath kingdom. It's known as the second resurrection. And this is the final one, which will close out God's plan for earth. And so it happens at the very end of the season of summer, year 7000. At that time, the great white throne judgment will take place. All the wicked from 7,000 years of history will be thrown into the lake of fire, while all the righteous will enter in to eternal life.
There it is. God's plan for planet Earth. Every week that passes, and every year that goes by, God's plan plays out like a beautiful symphony, in perfect foreknowledge. What an awesome God we serve. Whoever has ears, let them hear.